to topic 9. I just covered one topic 9 question in the topic 8 section. So if you're looking for that, go check out the playlist. I also covered all of topic 1 to 8 previously. So check out the playlist again and you find those there. And hopefully those help. And for now, we'll move on to the rest of topic 9 questions and start with 30. I actually already recorded this video, but it somewhat failed. I did two of these questions, but it failed. And so I have my notes here. So I'll let you guys solve these three first, and then I will bring my notes in and explain that. So pause this video, do these questions, and I'll get to it. Okay, question 30. So I'm just gonna reverse. Yep. Now here they are. Okay, so hopefully you guys tried those out. And what I have is which market sector focuses on these aspects, right? And so the way I broke this down, our answer is B, geographical. And the way I broke this down is understanding the difference between market segmentation and market sector in terms of the IBDT syllabus. So IBDT syllabus tells us that this is our this is what we have to understand. Our market segmentation, there's four categories, okay? And that is after market sector. So once we choose our market sector, then we have four categories to divide. And hopefully you guys understand these categories. Our demographic is age, sex, income, family size, and things like that. Then we have geographic, that's just region. Psychographic, which is right here, that is lifestyle, values, social status, personality, right? It does not include purchasing power or specific characteristics or culture. And then we have behavior, that's needs, attitudes towards certain products or images or colors. We have buying habits, brand loyalty. And then we have market sector. And this is what we're looking at, right? We're looking at market sector. So we have geographic sectors and we have client-based sectors. So immediately what we have to cross out is psychographic and commercial, right? Because those are our segments, right? And okay, commercial could be possible, but commercial is a segment of our client-based sectors. So this is a commercial is a possible sector, but it's for business to business. B2B means companies selling to other companies, and that is not what we're talking about here. Here we're talking about of consumers, right? Purchasing power, values, culture, characteristics of consumers specifically. And so this is our possible thing. We have consumers, so it could be a client-based sector, but that includes all of these, right? All of these four options. Or it could be a geographic sector. Sorry, laptop is bugging out a bit. Okay, and so client-based just helps us separate into specific types of clients, and we have those specific types here. None of those are based on our values, culture, characteristics, and purchasing power. But more importantly, our geographic sectors are based on all of those, right? Region, values, culture, characteristics of a group, and our purchasing power. And the example I give here is we have like if you're from Korea, for example, Korea makes uh specialized kimchi fridges, okay? Kimchi fridges, which means it helps keep the kimchi in the fridges at optimum temperature. There's specific like sections in the fridge and technology. So in Korea itself, you can if you're Korean in India, sorry, Korean in Korea, you could easily get that. Right? There's high demand in Korea, and there's high supply, right? Since there's many manufacturers and it's a local, uh, high selling product. Now, if you're outside of Korea, if you're a Korean outside of Korea, what you're gonna have is low supply and low demand. So you have lower purchasing power. Now, there's going to be taxes, right? You're going to have to import that good from Korea into your country. There's going to be tariffs. You're going to have to pay a higher price for that fridge. And so, uh, that is what purchasing power here means. And that's an example I can give. And so our answer is geographical, especially when it just comes to these uh, this key terms that the question asks. And then we have 31, which aspect of the marketing mix encourages online retailers to consider distribution networks? And so this was pretty simple. It's distribution networks is all part of place, right? The rest of this is, I think most of you understand what the four P's are. If not, do give it a search, look at the textbook. It's pretty straightforward. Just understand what each of them mean. And so what I said here is the intermediaries on in our distribution channel. So we will have retailers, wholesalers, right? That's what we're looking at. I think that's pretty straightforward. And the next is which market research strategy provides a better insight into brand loyalty? So hopefully you guys tried this out. And so environmental scanning, that is not it. And I'll go through the definitions of each of these. Expert appraisal, that's not it. We user trial, perceptual mapping is definitely our answer. User trial is like testing of a product. And for those of you who take business, this is our essentially our steeple analysis, right? For understanding the, and definitely go search up what is steeple. For understanding the external environment. Oops, something happened. It's external environment of our user or the demographic that we're targeting. Of user or market we target, business targets. Uh, Expert appraisal is looking at the knowledge and skills of specific experts. So we talk to experts, maybe interview or just giving them our product, right? So knowledge and skills of expert to in operation of product, so they understand how the product should work, or they understand how consumers typically use the product, and so they'll help you improve, or they'll give you feedback, or you can interview them and they'll give you good advice. All right, and then now perceptual mapping, which is our correct answer. That is just a tool. Hope you guys remember what it is. Tool to quickly compare uh products in the market to each other based on consumer, rankings in the market and based on consumer uh, input data, right? And we have a graphical representation. So this is the key points to remember about perceptual mapping. Let's move this screen and remember that it's something like this, right? What we have is maybe we'll have price, high price, low price, high quality, low quality, and that will be our situation. And then we rank specific products or just place them where we think they would land or based on consumer input and data. And so that tells us the loyalty these consumers have towards a certain product. High quality, high price, so they would want to buy this, right? Or they just perceive it's a perceptual map, so it's based on their perception of what the product is. And that usually tells us about brand loyalty, right? It's a perception of good value for money. Like you're loyal to a brand because you perceive good value for money, or you perceive it as a good brand. So that's clear. And then we have user trial. Now, user trial is just observation of people or users trialing a product, and you're collecting feedback plus collecting feedback or comments, right? And that's for this question. Now we can move on. Hopefully that's clear. Question 33. Now we are moving on to topic 10, and I think we can just cover all of this together. It will be quite fast. Mercedes-Benz is committed to a cycle of continuous improvement. They have implemented the Ideas Factory, which aims to discover talent and develop employee capabilities whilst fostering participation and engagement. Okay, what is Ideas Factory an example of? So, continuous improvement, immediately I'll tell you it is most likely Kaizen. Now we can check all the possible answers. Cycle of continuous improvement. Whenever we see continuous improvement, answer is most likely Kaizen. And so I don't know which ones you guys would be confused about, but I think this is a pretty easy question. This is, we have a group of products that have, common parts or assemblies, parts, components, or assemblies, techniques of manufacture, equipment, right? And so they're part of this group of family. So we can even say, our smartwatches or Apple products. That's a product family, right? We have a product. We have an Apple iPhone. We have Apple smartwatch. We have an Apple iPad. All sorts of products. And then we have Kaizen. That is just continuous improvement. Next is value stream mapping. This is lean production. This is more about a tool. It's a tool to analyze current workflows. And when we say workflows, we're talking about, so this is a workflow, sorry. We're talking about processes or steps to bring something to fruition. And that's the steps in production of a product, right? So to analyze current and future processes, for production. So these are our production processes. In order to just get an overview and plan things out, right? Planning. And this should be from delivery uh, until delivery. Until delivery to customer. Workflow is or review of processes. This is our overview in a workflow. So there's different processes in a workflow. So think of a flow chart. So just search up what a flow chart is, and that is essentially what we're talking about when we mention workflow. To identify potential improvements, potential issues, bottlenecks. You can search up what a bottleneck is. That just means issues or pain points, right? Or we can say 7 wastes, where we find wastes in this process or workflow, and then improve that workflow. So okay, laptop bugging out, improvements. Okay, so hopefully that one's clear. And on to the next one. Question 34. A just-in-case strategy can help manufacturers avoid which one of these 7 wastes? Now let's understand what are our 7 wastes. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. What are the remaining ones? We have motion plus over processing. That's one. And the other one is we have inventory, transport, waiting, overproduction. The other one should be defects, right? When we have defects, we have waste. And so, which one does JIC help? So JIC, unnecessary inventory, JIC keeps inventory, so that is false. Transporting, that is good. Overproduction, that is false. When you have a JIC strategy, you're producing more than you need to, right? You're you're having some just in case. That's what it means. And then waiting, that it is, and waiting is also a possible, right? So now we're just looking at B and C. And I think that's where most of you would be stuck. Now, for those of you who are thinking about, arguing thinking about JIT and then arguing the opposite, that could be a good strategy. But in this case, I want you to just think about JIC, right? Because we have 2 options. So now it has to be very specific to JIC. And so JIC essentially means we have a buffer of stock, right? Extra stock, buffer of stock uh, in excess of demand, so that we're not waiting, right? So now we don't have to wait for the manufacturer to make more or for an order to come in. We're just making to have this extra in advance. And if we have a sudden increase in demand, sudden increase in demand, we can meet that demand, right? And we do not lose sales. Can be met, right? So for me, waiting is the clear answer here. And the only reason we would be saying transport is if we were arguing from the idea of JIT. So JIT means we are waiting for suppliers to send materials, right? And we only do that when an order has been you only order materials when customer when the manufacturer's customer puts in an order, right? So that has a lot of transport and waiting time. We're not transporting in bulk, right? We're instead transporting every time an order is made. We are transporting those goods, and so we have extra transport waste. But The way we actually have to think about that is at the end of the day, we are having less transport waste because we're not overproducing, right? Less overproduction. We are only producing what is needed, so we're only transporting exactly what is needed. But so if we did argue from the JIT side, we could say transporting is our option. But this is for JIC specifically, so we need to answer the question directly, and the answer would be waiting. So we can move on to 35. I think somewhat clear. Again, these questions are tough. Just have to understand what these key terms mean and just practice writing definitions for each question. What is the main advantage of CIM? Okay, main advantage is, so we have automated manufacturing. Yes, everything is automated, right? That's what CIM is. It is using computers. Oops. Yep, using computers to integrate all processes from production, uh, ordering supplies to delivery to manufacturing to uh, finally delivering that final product to the customer. And so all processes are integrated using a computer, so it's automated. That is possible answer. Increased rate of production, that is also possible. We have greater efficiency, right? Efficiency, everything is integrated. So that means everything can be just controlled from one computer and automatically done by itself. It adapts without needing human input. So uh, integrates all processes. Then we have reduced errors. Yes, but not directly from CIM, right? That's not the main advantage. This would be more SPC or quality control sort of machinery, quality assurance. So this would not be the primary advantage. Then inventory control, yes, that is part of it, but that's not the overarching main advantage, right? That's a sub advantage that comes from this integration of all processes. And this efficiency also stems from the integration of all processes. So the main advantage is really our integration of all processes and automation. Automated. You don't need a human to be, no need for human input, right? It just uses data, historical data, and uses the software that is used to integrate the processes. Software used, so it automatically adjusts systems or alerts uh, the supervisors, or just helps us make sure all processes are efficient, which comes to the sub benefit. And so usually there's a primary benefit, right? When they ask for what is the main advantage, there's one big primary benefit, and then these are all sub benefits, right? So reduced errors is a sub benefit, inventory control is a sub benefit, but that only comes if we have an automated manufacturing process, right? It automates manufacturing, and that's why we have reduced errors. We can control our inventory, and we can increase our rate of production. Hopefully that makes sense. And I think I'll keep it there. It's already 25 minutes, and we have 4 more questions. This is a long case study, so I'll come back to that later. Hopefully this helped you guys and made some sense. Do drop a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.